Hello and welcome to another Verbling class. Today's class is on role-playing. The purpose of role-playing is to get you comfortable speaking in certain situations. We'll also practice vocabulary. We'll do role-play on various events or subject matter. We'll practice opening up a loan at a bank or setting up a mortgage. We'll also practice work situations, such as having a difficult conversation with your manager. We'll also practice dialogue between parents and children. All this coming up shortly. So another couple of topics that I thought we could try today is certain situations such as being invited to a party or being asked out or offering somebody a ride home because their car has broken down, calling to order a pizza, or ordering takeout, Chinese as well, Italian. But some of the role plays that students seem to enjoy the most are ones where we practice situations or scenarios at work, such as you're a working man or woman with a large family and you're at work and your boss wants to talk to you. And the reason he wants to talk to you is you've been late, you haven't been doing your work very well, and you are falling asleep at your desk. Okay? Or as an employee, you've been offered a job at another company. What do you do? Do you say yes? Do you accept? Hello, Alexandra.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. And you? You're early, by
Yeah, I know. I've been up early. Our little one's not feeling very well, so
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So hopefully he's good. Otherwise, I might have to run upstairs at one point. But
mm-hmm.
the wife is looking after him right now.
Okay.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, because I was busy traveling, but now I'm back. I'm back home.
Good. Well, I think you'll enjoy today's class. It's something that you will really like.
Okay, we'll see.
Now, are you back in Russia or are you still in the United States?
No, 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 I'm back in Russia.
Ah, that was a short trip. I thought you were going to be there longer.
5 weeks.
That's a long time. Well,
Yeah.
welcome. Excellent. Well, let's see who else just joined us. Hello, David.
Hello, Simon. Hello, Alexandra.
Hi.
Good. Where are you from, David? I haven't had you in my class before.
Yes, I'm from Italy. I live in Rome, even if now I am not speaking from Rome. I'm speaking from the city where I was born and raised, in the southern part of Italy. And I work in Rome. I work as a system database administrator in a newspaper media company.
Excellent.
So I share some common background, some information technology background with you. I think because I read about I read your profiles, and I read that you are a Cisco certified administrator.
Yes, I
And
was certified by Cisco many years ago now, as well as Microsoft, but being certified by Microsoft doesn't mean anything. It's very
Okay.
easy.
Okay.
I'm also a certified architect and a project manager, so I do a lot of IT stuff.
Okay.
Well, this is great. I think we'll change some of our role playing today. So maybe, this is a good opportunity. Thank you, honey. This is a good opportunity to, by the way, David, I wasn't calling you honey. That was my wife there who's
Yes,
brought me
yes,
some
yes.
tea. We're going to do some role play events where we're going to practice scenarios in the workplace. So, for example, well, David, I'll let you be the manager, and Alexandra, you will be an employee.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Alexandra, do you have any experience in IT, computers?
My experience with computers is restricted only to using my own laptop, that's all.
Okay. So let's think a little differently then. So we won't have you as IT support. David, you said you work for a newspaper?
Yes, I work for the most important Italian newspaper that is called La Repubblica.
Perfect. All right. So, Alexandra,
Mhm.
you are working for the most important newspaper in Italy.
I wish I could.
Well, for this, you are. So you're working for the newspaper, and you've actually been falling asleep on the job a couple of times. You've been late quite a bit. And while you were one of their best employees last year and the year before, this year your performance is not as good. Now, Alexandra, you had a child earlier this year. So you now have 5 children. Okay? Your husband's
Good
staying at
luck.
home. Yeah. Your husband is staying at home looking after the children while you work because you bring in more money in the family, but it's affecting your work. David wants you to come into his office because he wants to talk to you about something. So I'll let David start the conversation. Now, David, I give you complete freedom how you want to take this. You could be a really mean boss who says, that's it, you're fired. Or you could
Yes.
be a boss that tries to work and find out what's going on and with your employee.
Okay.
And I'll leave it up to you. And of course, Alexandra, both your English is very, very good. So be creative. Use your words and choose them carefully, okay?
Okay. Hello, Alexandra. How is going today?
Hello, boss. I think I'm pretty fine. Thanks for asking.
Yes. I'm wondering what's your problem about your job? I know that you were one of our best employees until last year, but now I think that your performance is not good. You are not working. You are not respecting deadlines. I think that you are not working, and you're not working the perfect way you worked before. And I wish to know about it. I wish to know what's going wrong with you and what's going wrong with me or with us maybe.
I would like to know what are the exact drawbacks of my job are.
Okay.
What
Yes.
do you mean exactly?
No, I want to know if there is some training, something we can do for you, or to offer you some flexible
Why?
time.
I know backwards and forwards of my job. I don't need any extra training.
And so, something about having a flexible time or having the possibility to work from home, to avoid losing time commuting. I wish that you have a better performance because we need it. You know that newspapers are living a period of economic crisis, so we must have the best from you.
Well, maybe the only thing I really need is working shifts. So I mean that will give me the possibility. I mean, that will give me a possibility to become more flexible because I have lots of I have lots of commitments in my at home, and sometimes I just run out of time. That's why maybe sometimes I have to cut corners to do everything on time. Maybe that's the problem.
Okay, that may be good, but I advise you that you will need to work on Sundays because you are working on shifts, and so you must accept to rotate with other colleagues. I don't know if it is going to be good for you because if you have 5 children, and this may be a huge problem. But I think that working on shifts is its pros and its cons, and I think that working on Sundays may be a drawback, but I cannot offer you something different.
What's my exact job? What am I doing exactly?
Okay, let me stop for a minute. I think part of the problem is you don't know your role. Now, remember, this is role-playing, so you can make up your role. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse both of your roles. So, David, you'll be the employee, and Alexandra, you'll be the manager. So let's talk about a few things. Now, while I gave you the scenario as the manager, you need to lay out exactly what the issues are. What I've done in the past is I'll say, John, is there anything going on right now? Is everything okay? And if John says, I'm a bit of a stress, and I said, well, do you want to tell me? Because I probably would say, ask them, give them a chance to talk a little bit, and then say, well, the reason why I wanted to talk to you is I've noticed your performance here isn't very good. And at this paper, especially under tough economic times, the pressures that we're feeling, we need every employee to be giving 110%. And then you can even ask the employee, now if the employee gets defensive like Alexandra did, well, you might have to get a little tougher. But if the employee sort of says, yes, I know, I've had a new baby, it's very tough at home, you can say, well, is there anything we can do to help you? Right? Sometimes just having a conversation can help the person realize, yeah, you know what, my job's at risk and I can't afford that. Yes. You don't want to lose the employee because it costs you money. You have to find a replacement. You lose productivity. The employee doesn't want to lose the job because that's their source of income. So David, you're working at the newspaper. Let's say you're a freelance or you're a journalist. And Alexandra, you're responsible for making sure the work is getting done, that articles are submitted on time. So David has 8 children. Okay, he just had twins, so he had 6 and now he has 8. And same situation, he's falling asleep at the job, he's stressed, and his work isn't the greatest. So Alexandra, why don't you start us off?
Excuse me, who is here?
Are you not listening?
I was just reading what you sent here. No mistake.
So you're the manager. Okay. So you need to speak to David about his performance.
Mm-hmm. And he is the freelance.
Well,
yes.
No, yes.
Or a journalist, so you can be staff because I'm freelance. I have no rights.
Okay, David. So let me announce the reason why I called you in today, and the reason for you coming here today and seeing me, since you are a freelance journalist and we don't meet up with each other too often, but there was some kind of urgency, and it's because of your poor performance.
What are you talking about? What performance are you talking about?
Do you remember? I was told once that you are a very talented journalist and that you are a very dependable person. So I thought to myself, why not? Why wouldn't I assign him an article about the uh, hmm, upcoming festival in Italy? And I think you didn't meet the deadline, and I've read your article, and I think you dropped the ball on this article because what was written there, excuse me, but that's the whole crap.
I didn't think so. I didn't think that way. And you know, analyzing the Venice Festival can be really tough sometimes because there are some obscure films. It's really difficult to deal with films from Iran or films from Cambodia or films from Taiwan every year. You need to have a really broad cultural background to understand, and sometimes can be really tough working there, staying there in not in the nearest hotel possible because I'm really far, because it costs too much to be there, to be near the main palace or festival. So I wish I had a different opportunity, maybe the Academy Awards. I think that writing for the Venice Festival can be a really tough experience, but because otherwise, and excuse me, and plus I would say that it's not a predictable festival. You cannot forecast who the winner will be, and this is what the audience want to read. They don't want to read about Iranian culture or about what's going on in Italian movies. They want to read about you forecasting who the winner is or about the most important actor, and this can be really difficult to write about because, as you know, you need a cultural background that is not my background, and this is the reason maybe why I wrote what you named to be a whole crap.
Okay, David, but why am I learning about all this right now? Why didn't you let me know about it beforehand?
Because
you could have told me beforehand that you were going to have these kind of hurdles, and maybe I would have given you a different task. But you told me that you're gonna shoot at it, that you're gonna do it, and now the only thing I'm hearing is you justifying yourself. So,
yes.
Wow.
not accepting this.
Brutal.
I need a shield. I need a shield to protect myself. And yes, I want to point out that we didn't have many meetings before, and it's really difficult for a freelance journalist, age 30 like me, to be to talk about my weaknesses. So I think that's the reason why I'm feared, because I'm fear of losing the job. I have 8 children. This is gonna be a real tragedy for me. Yes, I think that, yeah, and they are keeping me awake all night. They are keeping me awake with nightmares, even if I'm not there. And in fact, I had nightmares all time when I stayed there in Venice, and also some movie was a nightmare. I think that movie from Cambodia was a real nightmare. I had 2 hours, and it was quite impossible to understand.
All right, guys, thank you. Let me interrupt, and then I will try something a little different.
Okay.
Now, a couple of things that I heard in this conversation. You were very regal. Let me announce why you're here today. Nobody says that unless they have a trumpet. Let me announce the presence of... No.
United States.
We would say the reason why I've called you in here today is, and go into it, okay? Also, it was crap or other expletives. The problem with that, it's not descriptive, and as a journalist, you know that crap means nothing. Other swear words, and I don't swear on here because of children tune in, but other swear words, they're meaningless. They mean nothing. If you say something is crap, well, what do you mean? I have no idea what you mean. So be more descriptive. Swearing is for people who don't have vocabulary or who are upset. Okay? So we want to try to avoid these words. So it was crap. Well, what do you mean it was crap? Say it. Next. About it. I hear it a lot. It is a pronoun I really don't want to hear too often. A better word would be the situation or circumstances. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the role of the employee, and Alexandra will be the manager. Then we'll take turns, and David, you will be the manager, and I will be the employee, okay? So you can get to hear my vocabulary and how different it is.
Okay.
All right, boss, take it away. That's you, Alexandra.
I'm again talking about something.
Same situation as with David, only it's me this time.
Now, okay. So, Simon, I called you in today because I'm really disappointed at your work.
Really? Why? What's wrong? What's wrong with my work?
Well, when I was reading your article, I had the impression that you don't know the first thing about journalism.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. As you know, I had twins 4 months ago, and you know, my wife is looking after them, but still, it's hard to get sleep. We've got 8 children with 2 twins that we weren't expecting. I'm sorry, I'm exhausted. Sorry, boss, you were saying?
Okay, but what does it have to do with the job? You know that here in this company, we put well, job is our main priority.
Of course it is. Look, boss, I understand that my performance hasn't been very good. I obviously can't afford to lose this job, and I know that if you had to fire me, then you know it affects the performance of the company. You've got to spend time and effort to train somebody. I apologize for my performance. I'm just in a tough spot right now. And
do you have any suggestions about improving the situation? Because I would like to see your, well, I forgot. Okay, I would like to see your input, but I don't really feel it.
Well, I think this could work, boss. They've done it with some other roles in Italy here, and the biggest problem for me right now is my baby doesn't understand that we sleep at night. So my sleeping clock is all messed up. The tough thing is after not sleeping, I wake up at 6, get ready, come into work for 8. I'm exhausted. I haven't had a chance to sleep. If you would give me the assignment and allow me to work from home, I could sleep in till 8 or 9 or even 10, then be fully refreshed, and I can work from 10 to 12, and if the baby needs taken care of. I can take care of the baby or get a nap. Then I can work from 1 to 4. I can even work into the evening. Having this flexible time and being able to work from home would, I think, really, really help me. And my workload wouldn't change. The deliverables are still due. The only difference is I'm not having to come into work at specific hours. And I think if I could do this up till the age of 11 months when he can go into daycare, then that would really, I think that would make all the world, of difference.
Yes, but I do agree that this may give us a more appreciable result concerning your job. But what am I gonna say to other employees? Imagine the situation that everybody is gonna come up to me and ask me for the same thing.
Well,
but we are a company which operates here, and we work all together as a team. And if I make an exception for one person, then I will have to do the same. Then I will have to treat everybody else equally.
Actually, that's a brilliant idea, boss. I mean, think about it. We could also, I could write an expose on this about changing workforces. If we allow all of our journalists, our full-time journalists, to be able to work wherever they want to, whenever they want to, think of the benefits to the company. We don't need as much office space. We can downsize, right? So we spend less money on heating, air conditioning, operational costs of the business. So that certainly helps us. Our employees are better rested. They have the flexibility with their families. They're still producing the same results. And at the end of the day, we're a business. We don't care where they work.
But
what
Simon,
we do care about is the deliverable.
We paid for our housing upfront. I don't see any benefit from that right now. This only can be applicable maybe in 6 months' time.
Exactly. Yeah, no, businesses don't change on a dime. You've asked for suggestions, and based on my business experience, if you can shift a company that quickly, even in 6 months, you change your leasing rates. This is huge. Just imagine in 6 months you're able to reduce your operating costs by 25%. Would your manager be happy with that? Yes, it's a risk, but look at how much money we're getting from advertising now. People are expecting their news free on the internet. We're competing with free. It's a very, very tough business, and if we can trim operating costs while still producing the same quality content, I think this could work very well for us. Newspapers in the United States, most of them, the people work from home and they submit their articles electronically. With technologies like Google Hangouts, we can have conferences online that don't cost us anything. We can get rid of the expensive contracts we're paying to be able to conference when journalists are around the world. But that's just my idea, boss. You've got a call to make here. I'm just making this. Hello, boss. Are you asleep?
I think I have some
Boss.
connection problems.
Okay.
Just in time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, I'll consider your offer, and I'll let you know maybe in several days.
All right. And boss, I was wondering if I could get a raise.
Well,
I mean, you got to admit, boss, this is a very good idea. Let me ask you this, boss. If this is approved by management and this is a success, could I get a 10% raise if it ends up saving us around 25% a year in operating costs?
well, if you give me what you've just said, if you give me a blueprint of all the costs and prices, then maybe I will consider your other offer. But not now.
Okay. All right. I tell you what, boss. I'll work out all the details. As you know, I have a business degree. I'll work out all the details on this. I'll compare it to the Chicago Tribune, the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal. And I'll have you a plan by the end of the week.
Okay, then let's talk at the end of the week.
Great. Thank you. I'm going to go to sleep now. Okay. So, thank you. So you see how I kind of changed it around a little bit, but I wanted to introduce different terminology. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So David, this time I'm the manager and you're the journalist. You're a full-time journalist. You get benefits. All right? David, do you have a couple of minutes?
From my side, excuse me.
Sorry?
I have the syndicate behind my shoulders. Syndicate, I just cannot translate maybe in English. Is good syndicate?
Well, a syndicate. Well, let me. Okay, so you're a journalist. You write articles for us, and you're on the payroll, which means you're not a freelance.
Excuse me, the trade union.
Oh, trade union. Labor
so
union.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you're in the union.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, David. How are you today?
I'm fine, even if I'm really tired. You know that.
Why are you tired? What's going on?
I'm tired because of my children. They don't allow me to sleep at night, and today I woke up at 5 o'clock. It's a really tough life, and after I had to commute. There are no words to express this, but it's really tough.
No, I understand. Look, I had a baby about 6 months ago, so I understand what you're going through. Now, your wife is at home, though, isn't she looking after the children?
Yes, but they are 8, and even if your wife is a superwoman, it's really difficult. And they are not. I also have couple of twins. It's difficult to make the elder take care of the younger because the elder brother is only 6 years old, and so it's difficult. Maybe in a 4 or 5 years time, they are going to help me. But now I'm living really tough times.
So you understand. Well, how do you feel about your work lately? What do you feel about your performance and the quality of your work?
I know that my performance wasn't so great. I know that my performance is not the same when you had me, and I'm trying to do everything possible to me to perfect my performance, to be the better journalist, to be the journalist you hired. But it may be it may be difficult sometimes, and so I wish that you understand my situation, and I wish you can try to make a compromise, to have a compromise with me, maybe helping me changing, making me work on shifts or work from home, to optimize my time.
Well, David, you know the situation with the newspaper. I'm not going to go into that. The work that you've contracted to do for us, we have to have it. It has to be on time. It has to be impeccable. We can't have 8-year-olds leaving comments on our newspaper correcting your grammar. We look foolish. We're the best newspaper in the country, and we need to keep that reputation. So you want, well, I think what we can do here is, I don't really know why we even still have employees come into the office here. I don't see any reason why you can't work from home. Okay? I mean, it's your product that matters most. Now, that what the office provides you is access to analytical tools. It also provides you with a quiet place to work. I don't know if you can get that quiet at home.
Yes, I totally understand. Maybe I can work from the local library, or I can work from a Starbucks coffee near my home. But I think that wasting 2 or even 3 hours a day commuting is, I think that we can't afford that, losing that time, and maybe these are 2 hours that may be lacking to deliver you the best product possible. Maybe in a 2 hours time, I can write twice the articles I write, and I can adjust, do
David,
all the grammar checks.
You know what? Honestly, I don't care where you work, whether you work at the library or at home. The deliverables are the same. You have to produce a certain number of articles each week, and they need to be done on time, and they need to be in proper form. Grammar, spelling, all that stuff needs to be taken care of. So
Okay.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll allow you to work remotely. So that's a term used, working remotely. Make sure you understand how to use Google Hangouts, because I'll want to have daily conference calls with you, at least as we get started.
Okay, perfect.
You'll be able to submit the articles to us. I'd probably suggest using Google Docs, so that way we could collaborate together when we need to. And if you're able to meet and improve your work, then I don't see why this can't continue in the future.
Okay, I think that the best thing to do maybe to have some kind of trial for 2 or 3 months. We can try working that way.
Well, let's try. If it doesn't work out, I'll have no choice but to fire Alexandra.
Okay. Because she's a freelance.
Yes, she's freelance.
Okay.
You're a union.
But I think that we can have a compromise. I think that maybe allowing me and Alexander to work, and maybe trying to find a different way, a different method may be good. Because I know we are living such a huge, such terrible economic crisis. It may be really difficult for a freelance journalist like Alexandra to find a good job, or even to find one, neither good nor bad. So
thank you.
So I think that yes, the best is to, because I think that if I were in Alexandra's shoes, I would have done the same.
Great. So different approaches, different scenarios. Now, do these work? Is this what we should be doing in labor relations? Well, I don't care. That's not the purpose of these scenarios. The purpose of the scenarios is to get you to practice your English. And in this case, we're focusing on vocabulary related to the workforce. Now, this is an approach I would try. I think having lots of office space when people can work remotely, and why have your employees stuck in traffic for 2 to 4 hours when they could be working from home? Makes sense to me. They don't get the work done, well, they're fired, right? You know, it's no different than what we currently have. Whether you're working in an office or working at home, you have work that needs to be done. And if work doesn't get done, well, you know, eventually you're going to find yourself out of work. We've all been there. Okay, let's pick a different scenario. We've spent most of the class on this, but I think it's good because, well, you've got some experience in journalism, and we all are going to be in the workforce at some point. However, I want to try something a little different. We all have experiences in medical or with Medicare. So the healthcare system, universal healthcare system. In Russia, do you have universal healthcare?
What do you mean by universal health care?
You go to the doctor and he sends the bill to the government.
A little bit different.
You pay the bill?
We have the so-called free medicine, but I would say that it's free only on paper. So in most cases, you pay by yourself.
Yeah, okay, I got it. So if you want free, you can see me in 6 months. If you pay, I can see you now.
Almost like this, yeah. In most cases like this.
Well, I know my friend David's from Italy, and he's part of the Europe, so you have universal health care, as I think does every member of the EU nation, at least the 13 original countries.
Yes, maybe. It's not free for all. It was free until the 1992.
Wow, what happened?
Now it's not free. There was another strong economic crisis, and they made people who can afford pay. And now it works that way. If you are going to the emergency, to the emergency emergency, yes, ER is what the I cannot translate it in English. I know the acronym ER, but I know what ER stands for. Maybe emergency report or something like that. Emergency if you're going room. There, excuse me?
Emergency room.
Emergency room, excuse me. If you're going there, it's free because you cannot lose time when you have to save a life, making him pay or something like that. But if you need some kind of some different kind of you need to go to the hospital for maybe a week or two. If you can pay, you have to pay.
In Canada, it's all free unless you want to stay in a private room or a semi-private room. Then you have to pay for that. But usually your company insurance will cover some of that cost.
Okay. So it's not.
What we're going to do,
I would say you're. Excuse me.
So what we're going to do now, David, is we're going to practice going to the doctor's office. Okay. And we're going to practice different scenarios. I'll be the doctor first, and you guys can be patients. Okay. And again, make stuff up. Don't give me real, truthful stuff, okay? So, who would like to see the doctor first?
May I?
Sure.
Hi, doctor.
Hi, David. What's going on?
I don't feel. I feel ill. I think that maybe Ebola. I just don't know. I heard about it. Yes, I heard about it at the news, and I went to Africa last year, and I have the terrible fear. I'm fear of having that kind of unknown illness. Is there anything you can do about it to help me?
Based on what I'm looking at here. You say you had Ebola. Now, why do you think you had Ebola? Did you touch anyone?
Yes, when I was in Africa, yes. I think that when you are in Africa, even if I try to drink bottled water, I think that's quite impossible to stay there without touching, without hugging, without interacting with local people. And I think that if you are trying to avoid any contact, people will see you like a racist, and I'm not a racist at all. But yes, I think that in the hotel where I stayed for 2 weeks, there was no hygiene at all, and so I'm feared of having Ebola.
Well, David, you got to think these things through, right? If I think there's a good chance I'm going to catch Ebola, or someone's going to think I'm a racist, I'm going to choose having someone think I'm a racist rather than risk catching Ebola. Now, in many cultures, there's nothing wrong with not hugging somebody or shaking someone's hand. It's considered inappropriate to touch certain cultures. And in a situation like that, you could just choose to bow. It shows that you respect, but you're not willing to touch. But that being said, I don't see any pustules on you. You don't look like you got a fever, David. In fact, you kind of look tired. That's about it.
Okay, but do you think that will be better to have to go to the hospital for a checkup, or do you think that it's only being feared, or maybe some kind of hypochondria? I just don't know if it's the term in English.
Well, I can poke you with a few needles if that will help you. Now, David, the last time you were here, you thought you had SARS, just because you went to Toronto. You also thought you had the bubonic plague a few years ago because you were in London, and yeah, I can poke you with some needles now. There's a $50 fee for this.
Okay.
But the other thing you could do is just wait and see in a day or two, because most people, since it's been 2 days, at this point would be deathly sick and wouldn't be worried about it. So if you want to wait 2 days, and if you're not dead in 2 days, then you can safely say that everything's fine and you don't have Ebola.
Okay. And I think that even some counseling from a psychologist may be good for me. Because
yes, maybe. I can get a psychologist for you. Maybe you just need someone to talk to. Are you married, David?
No.
Why don't you find a wife?
Because I don't have time. And this is maybe the reason why I travel so much and I always look tired, because I travel too much.
Why do you travel so much?
Because I need to fulfill holes in my life, because I feel lonely, and I think that traveling may be a good way to get rid of that. But when I travel, I feel lonely as well.
Tell you what, David, if you get married and have a child, you won't feel lonely. Trust me on that, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, David. Hi, Alexandra. How are you today?
I'm not very well, doctor. And the reason for this is that my friends call me a fatty person. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, could you step on the scale then? Let's check your weight.
Well, yeah, sure, but my weight is just fine, and the reason they call me so is that I'm always pigging out on food, because whenever a waiter brings a menu, I I just can't restrict myself to only one item. And I want this and this and this and this, and I usually only try out maybe only 1 or 2 dishes. I don't eat everything, but that's what I do. And the dishes are usually rather substantial, and that's why they call me fatty.
Well, I'm not sure that I understand what the medical problem is. What?
The problem is that I pig out, but I don't gain weight.
So you want to gain weight?
No, I just want to to stop eating.
Well, then stop eating.
Yes, because maybe, or I just wonder why I don't gain any weight because this is weird.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think eating is normal. If you're hungry, you should eat. If you're not gaining weight, then obviously you don't have a problem with weight gain. But what I would be careful with is choose carefully what you are eating. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you're eating all the right food groups, make sure you're eating nutritiously, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, but the problem is that I am I'm living. Can I say I'm living on a shoestring?
You're living on a shoestring budget.
Yes, I'm living on a shoestring budget, which means I can't afford to go to high quality stores, and that's why sometimes I can only go to McDonald's.
Well, there's no drug I can really give you to stop eating. I mean, we could go through a stomach stapling procedure, but you're not fat, so I couldn't authorize that. These are for only people that are obese,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So,
So I'm not. There's not really much medically I can do for you now. Maybe there's a psychologist that you could see. Maybe that would be better.
I've read somewhere that when people eat too much, that's because they want to substitute their loneliness for food. What do you think about
Well, have you thought of dating then?
it? Yes, I've heard that your previous patient doesn't have a wife.
Well, see, I'm here to treat medical problems, and these are more psychological problems. If you're not fat, you're eating a lot, but you're not fat. There's nothing much I can do. I can tell you what you need to do to eat properly, but I can't force you. It's not illegal. Unless President Putin says one day, hey, people can't eat more than a certain amount of food, I really can't change it, right? And I don't think he's going to do that. He's too busy with other things. He's just happy that you're able to eat, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right?
Thanks.
Very welcome. All right, well, we've got time for another one. This time what I want you to do is, Alexandra, I want you to see Dr. David. Okay, now try to come up with something a little more realistic this time, guys, because otherwise you're not going to benefit too much. All right, go ahead, David.
Hello, Alexandra. How is it going? Do you feel fine, or do you feel sick today?
Yes, doctor. I feel really sick. My stomach aches, and I have a backache, and I feel dizziness. So everything all at once.
I think that maybe you caught a cold, or maybe you ate something rotten, and so you are feeling sick because you get a temperature for that. I can try to give you some aspirin, and maybe you can eat. You can eat really. You can eat light for 2 or 3 days, and I think that the situation is going to fix by itself. If you are still feeling sick in 3 days, you can return here, and we can try to get to the hospital to have a checkup.
Yes, and what about my backache? Do you have it? Do you think it has something to do with uh,
Yes, for sure. If you caught a cold, it's going to, and you've got a temperature, it's gonna affect all your body, and especially your back. You will suffer from stomach ache, backache, headache, everything possible because it's about your immune system that is fighting against the attack, and this is going to weaken you, and you feel sick, and you feel yes, and you can feel that backache because of that.
What about nightmares, doctor? I have started to suffer from nightmares not long ago.
That's because you don't sleep too much. You are using social networks all the time, and this is affecting your mental performance, and this is the reason why you are having nightmares, because you can go to sleep at 2 or 3 o'clock at night and then wake up at 6 o'clock. You need much more rest, and I think that using social networks all the time is not helping you, and I think that nightmares are only a consequence of that.
And doctor, I also have a problem with my hair. It's constantly coming off,
Stand for a bit.
especially when I'm using an curl iron. Do you think it's a sign of something?
Excuse me, can you repeat? I didn't understand. What's the problem? You are not losing your hair?
Yes, yes, I am. It's coming off,
Excuse me.
especially when I'm using the curling iron.
But I think that's all related to you need to sleep more. If you are sleeping only 3 or 4 hours a night, it's going to be a problem for the whole body, not
But
only
I
your
can't live
hair,
without
not only
social
your
networks.
head. Excuse me?
But I can't live without social networks. This is my only friend. This is my
And
last resort.
you need some real friend, or even the imaginary rabbit is a friend, but
Folks?
social networks all the time.
Okay, I got to step in here. Alexandra, don't believe it. You're far too happy to have no friends and be alone. I love. You guys are great. I can't be too serious with you guys.
I was
Okay.
just trying to act as a, how are they called? Hypochondriac?
Hypochondriac.
Hypochondriac, yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, I do need to end class 5 minutes early because I do have a private lesson I have to deal with shortly. I am off tomorrow. Alexandria, I hope to see you more often. And David, I would love to see you in my classes. Most of them are at the intermediate or advanced. And I start back on Monday. It is a little late for you, but I do have classes that start around 11 o'clock at night, unfortunately. I don't teach a lot of Saturdays because it's the weekend and I work with the family.
I have no problems because I work on shifts. I'm not attending many classes here because I also pay a fee for English Town, and so I had tickets. I have to spend tickets, but I really enjoyed that class, and I will enjoy other classes with you because I'm preparing for the TOEFL exam, and I think that this kind of lesson may be really beneficial, and also getting used to your accent may be really helpful.
Okay, good. Yeah, I speak with a standard North American dialect. The Canadian one where I am is very similar to Northern U.S. dialects. And if you follow all the actors and actresses that are Canadian, you'd be surprised because you think they're American and they're not.
Yes.
So there's a lot of us.
I also know about Terrence and Philip from Canada.
Yeah, no, they're not from Canada. Ryan Reynolds is a better example of people from Canada.
Okay. And
I
yes,
spell that right?
maybe also Jim Carrey is another Canadian actor.
Another Canadian, yeah.
But
Alex Trebek.
In Italy, it's really difficult to get used to your accent because they are always dubbed, and so the voice of Jim Carrey is the voice of his dubber, and this is not good. In fact, I will try to
go to YouTube because a lot of copyrighted material is on there. I don't know if it should be or shouldn't be, but it's a great way to sample it. But guys, I do have to get going. Thank you so much for coming to class today, and I hope to see you guys Monday.
Thank you for this wonderful lesson.